Ready for the sharks? All right, yes? All right. Let's bring out Mr. Robert Hershevek, the nice shark. All right, woo! Next up, Mr. Wonderful, Kevin O'Leary. All right. Next up, the People Shark, Mr. Damon John. Woo, 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 woo. And last but not least, Mr. Fred Nicola, CEO of Kaseya.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you very much.
All right. Have a seat, gentlemen. Okay, at this point in the competition, I'm out. I don't vote. And so I'm going to turn it over to the Pink Panther, Mr. David Rendell, who's going to make sure everybody stays nice and sort of on time. Okay? Anyway, let's give it up for the big Pink Panther, Mr. David Rendell. Woo!
I was like, I'm not so sure how to help everybody stay nice. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to do that. Obviously, Danny wasn't going to do that. All right, remember, this is a contest, right? And these guys are trying to win the car. These guys are trying to impress the sharks. These guys are trying to impress you. But they're also trying to help you, right? They're trying to help you learn what they learned and what they use to have a better business. So this isn't necessarily just about them. It's not just about the sharks. This is about you. Take this opportunity to learn, to develop, and to maybe challenge yourself. That's what they're going to be trying to do. And I tell you, I'm impressed by these people, right? I've been coaching these people for the last few months. These are some powerful stories. These people have done some amazing things. Make some noise. They're backstage. Let them know you're ready. All right, so here's how it's going to work. They're going to come out on stage. They got basically 7.5 minutes to give their talk, to tell their story, and impress the sharks. The sharks have 7.5 minutes to ask them questions and try to terrify them, hurt their feelings, and make them question whether they've ever had any form of success in the past, right? That's the format. Also, the sharks are going to do whatever the hell they want the entire time. And we're just going to try to keep this thing from going off the rails. So then when they're done with their 15 minutes, I'll come out, tell them good job, you'll cheer them on, we'll send them to the back, and we'll send out another one into the Coliseum to take on the gladiators. All right? You ready?
Yeah.
All right, our first contestant is Jay Hill. I asked him, what are your favorite birds? He said it's a tie between Blue Jay and Jay Hawk. Please welcome to the stage, Jay Hill.
Sometimes the thing that's holding you back is all in your head. You know, we keep telling ourselves we can't do marketing, we don't know how to get started, we can't afford it, we don't know what to do. And we're also worrying about growing our business because we keep losing clients. You know, we just need to get out of our head. And do like Will Noble's always said, get out of your own way. For me, I want to share with y'all how I got started and the success that I've seen over the last 3 years. For me, it started when I got this red envelope in the mail. Maybe it wasn't quite this big, but it really caught my attention. You know, I opened it up and it talked about marketing. And I thought, I don't need to do marketing. You know, I thought to myself, I'm doing pretty good as a business. I've been in business 19 years. I had 15 employees, and I was on track to do $2 million in revenue that year. I thought, I'm doing pretty good. Then I remember what my son said. He said, you know, Dad, keep telling yourself that. And I thought, you know, he's right. I was spending 10 to 12 hours a day working and probably 80% of my time doing tech work. I've been in business 19 years and I was still doing the same thing. You know, I thought to myself, I needed to do something different. And for me, it was, you know, I just needed to make a decision. And so I decided just do it. And for me, I kept doing it. And so I joined up for TMT. Now I joined in January of 2020, and I got my toolkit. Now I think the toolkit's changed over the years, but this thing caught my attention. It was a shock and awe box, and I was shocked. I didn't know what to do with this thing. I opened it up, and I'm like, closed it back up. I'd rather go to a movie than read a book, honestly, right? And I thought, what am I going to do with this? But then I remember what Aaron said when I joined TMT. He said, look, you want to be successful, you got to do a couple of things. You need to get the toolkit, and you need to join accelerators, and you need to go to a rapid implementation workshop. And I thought, okay, I can do this. I can follow instructions. So in February, I went to my rapid class. And I felt like I was drinking from a fire hose. I'd never done marketing in my life. And all of a sudden, I'm in a 2-day crash course in marketing. This was an eye-opener to me. I was like, okay, but I can do this. Robin and her team broke it down, helped me understand how to do marketing. I was just, a tech that was doing the work, right? I wanted to run a business, and she was showing me how to do that. So we ran a campaign right there in class called the TBR, Technology Business Review. It allowed me to automate the ability to get in front of my clients. This is something I've been wanting to do for years. Didn't know how to do it. And I remember I went back the following week to home, and I had 6 appointments. And those 6 appointments I ended up turning into $16,000 of new annual recurring revenue. I thought, okay, this is working. So I just kept, for the next 90 days, they didn't just drop you off. They said, look, we're going to 90 days. And so we met every week. And they coached us. They showed us how to run the campaigns. They showed us how to change our website, how to answer the phone calls, things that I thought I was doing in my business already, but I wasn't. And so she helped me learn how to run my business better. And in October of 2020, I joined the Producers Club. And that was amazing. I was so excited. I was put into an accountability group that with other business owners across the country. But the frustration I had at that time was, you couldn't really ask questions, you couldn't get help. But this accountability group, which is right here, by the way, they're awesome. They helped me grow. They helped me push me. We all pushed each other. And I remember about that same time, I was trying to figure out how to move my clients from a break fix over to MSP. I didn't know how to do it. I'd never even heard of an MSP till I joined this, right? And I thought, okay, I got to do something different, right? So I kept telling myself, just do it. And one of the things that I was struggling with at that time was, how do I do this? Well, Robin did a webinar about the same time where her and Charles Henson talked about how to price your MSP. This is what I needed to do. I was stuck. One of the things Robin always says, you can't drive a parked car. That's how I felt. I felt like I was stuck, didn't know where to go. I was just sitting there. But I said, okay, I can do this. I just need to follow the recipe and do it. So I printed off the price sheet that they recommended, made some changes, and I took it to my biggest client. I was terrified. And when I got there, I explained the benefits and the advantages of an MSP program. And I was shocked. They said, yes. So that client added $13,500 of new monthly recurring revenue, or MRR. I was shocked. I went home and told my wife, I said, this is working. This is crazy, but it's working. It wasn't until later that I remembered part of that webinar. They said, hey, look, take it to your bottom 20% in case they say no or they don't like it. I thought, well, I've missed that part. But the point being is you can't steer a parked car. I thought, I'm going to make mistakes. And I did make mistakes. And I would still make mistakes. But I was growing my business. And that's the only way I could do it. And in 2021, we added 98,000 of new MRR. So we ended the year in 2021 with 153,000 of MRR. And we kept doing it. And in 2022, we added 118,000 of new MRR. So we ended the year in 2022 with 272,000 of MRR. Now we were moving clients from break fix over to MSP, sure, but we also added 13 new clients. It was amazing. I was learning things that I'd never done before. All the people out here, we help each other, and it's been great. And that's the biggest thing that I've learned is the collaboration. It's just awesome, and it's amazing. I also made a lot of other changes in 2022. When I was growing, I felt like, there's the other things that I need to do. I created a help desk. I hadn't had one before. I also added a marketing manager so I didn't have to keep doing it. I added an operations manager to help me do the day-to-day work. And I also added a dedicated salesperson. I wanted my business to grow. And Robin always talks about you need to sales and marketing. I also added an account success manager because I didn't want to keep losing clients that I was bringing on. I needed to retain them. There's also a few other key takeaways that I got. I needed to work on the right thing with the right approach. I needed to get out of my own way. I needed to follow the recipe and don't reinvent the wheel. Robin's always talking about, don't reinvent the wheel, this works, just keep doing it. I needed to do things smarter and not harder. I was working hard, but I wasn't making the progress that I wanted. I wanted my business to run itself. And for me, success was not always financial. This last February, I was able to take my wife and daughter to Spain for a whole week. Thanks. But we went there for a whole week and I didn't work at all. I mean, that's what success looks like to me. And it was all just because I decided just do it. And everybody out here can do it just like I did. Thank you for your time.
Well, Jay, I think it's a great story, and I always say great businesses are built with great purpose, and I love the fact that you incorporate your family within your goals. I will tell you, even at my size, I always work on vacation. I would love to say I don't, I just can't. I get very paranoid when people can't get a hold of me, so it's just different. Let me ask you a question. First of all, amazing growth, 55,000 to 272,000 MRR. Did I see that right? Mm-hmm. In less than 2 years.
Yeah, I've been with TMT for 3 years now, and we went from, because we were break fix, we had a lot of, but and it was all break fix. It was changed every month. It was like a yo-yo. We didn't know what we were bringing in. I constantly worried about looking at my bank account to see how things were going. And so when we went to the MSP, I was able to create that reoccurring revenue every month.
But now you're at about 272.
Yes.
And has your churn rate changed from when you were 55? What's your churn now at 272? How many customers don't renew? Do you have multi-year contracts or monthly?
Here's what we do. We do a month-to-month contract.
Oh, you do month to month?
Month to month because.
Why don't you do an annual?
We're having to start to think about some of those things because the problem that we're running into is because I say, look, I'm a month to month. I want to earn your business every month because I've got clients that say, I'm not going to do that 3 year. But I said, look, I want to earn your business every month. But things I'm running into now are like Microsoft licensing. I'm running into these, the data networking stuff that I'm doing that, it's putting me on recurring revenue, contracts, right? So I've got to keep those contracts. So I'm rethinking in the way I'm doing things with those contracts.
Yeah, I think my advice would be,
yes.
There are good months and there are bad months. And there are months the customers are not going to love you despite whatever you do. And the longer you can lock somebody in, people they can get out for a cause no matter what. So you can always sign up. But how do you measure your churn rate? I'm really out of the 272, how much will you lose out of that business?
We've only lost 2 clients in the last 6 months. I think as things get more difficult, we start seeing people start looking around. But one of the things I added was an account success manager because I was worried about clients leaving. I'm out here trying to bring in new clients, and I'm worried about these clients leaving.
So that, if you're doing that.
We're working hard at it.
So the world-class metric for MSSPs or MSPs is sub 10%. So if you're losing sub 10%, that's amazing. The other thing you might want to start tracking is your net ACV, which is how many customers are you losing, the ACV, and your upsell rate to the existing ones. If you can keep that above 100%, That's a world-class measure, but congratulations, great business. Kevin?
Yes, so I always have a very simple metric. If you can prove a business to $1 million in revenue annually, you can make it $5 million. You're stuck right in the middle. You're $3.2 million. What's the matter with you?
Well, I've added, I've had 56% growth in the last 3 years since I've been in TMT. I went from 2 million to 3.2 million over these last 3 years. So I'm really excited to see what my future brings. I've got, like I say, my salesman is amazing, and I think we're going to go past, 3, 4, 5 million.
Jay, don't listen to him. Kevin isn't
I
used to
listen to
businesses
him a
that are
lot.
growing. So,
Or recurring
I
revenue.
say you
stage.
dump those low-end clients and pursue some bigger ones to get this puppy to $5 million.
Absolutely. One of the things that we're doing right now is I read The Pumpkin Pan by Mike Michalowicz about, I've got too many of those break-fix clients that don't want to move over to MSP or just, again, the 80-20 rule. So we got to get rid of those. And that is kind of our next phase and focus this next year.
Well, I think you got to get to 5. That's what I think. And lastly, Jay.
I agree with you.
All right, lastly, I'll tell you this, and remember this. Never cry for money. It never cries for you.
You're right.
Okay, move on.
All right. So we're going to start arguing in a minute. So I want him to get a word in for a moment.
New guy to the table doesn't get to argue, I guess. So no, Jay, the business is great. I get to talk to a lot of MSPs, literally hundreds a year. The story is great. The business is great. I'd agree with my new colleague, I guess, Mark. And this is probably going to bring some oohs and ahs, but I strongly encourage looking at multi-year agreements for a number of reasons.
You mean Robert?
Robert, I'm sorry, I said Mark. I'm
No,
sorry.
you
call me Mark?
Robert. Robert, you look like a younger Barbara, if you ask me. But whatever.
I had to rib him somehow.
I think I'm going to get a royalty somehow.
But no, it's important. A lot of MSPs and a lot of software companies, for that matter, they fear that I want to earn the business every month, and a lot of times things can happen for a perception about your value that might not be your responsibility, your fault, and it's not as hard as you would think to move from break fix to managed, as you've done incredibly successfully well, and to go from a month-to-month to an annual, or an annual to a 3-year, or a 3-year with a minimal floor. If you can lock your revenue in, you can make further investments to your business, and then you can continue your growth. It's a tough thing. Some of the most successful MSPs that I see are consistently successfully selling 3 to 5 year deals. And one of the ways they're doing it is they're giving insurance against inflation. If you're in a period where there's 7, 8, 10, 15% inflation that you're probably feeling with your technicians and your engineers you have to hire, most MSPs that I experience are trying to raise their prices in double digits a year. That's a very compelling reason to lock in a 3-year contract.
And we want to do that. I mean, we're all in. I have all the Datto products. I moved everything over to Datto, and I'm on 3-year contracts with them. So I need to do the same thing. So
Jay, I got some
now that
questions.
it's Kaseya. So.
I got some quick questions. I know we're running short on time.
Okay.
So, what was the breaking point? Because I see that as you started to grow, after you reflected on what was going on, you hired a COO, sales, marketing, account facilitator. Where was the point? What was the point you said, I am just going to do it? Or what was holding you back? Because you knew inevitably you had to grow or you're going to die. What was that point?
Well, before I joined TMT, I didn't understand. I didn't even know what MSP was. We were just, because I've been doing this for 23 years now, and we was always break fix. And so when I joined TMT, they talked about you need to go to a pricing model of, per device, right? And I remember thinking to myself, if I could get, I remember like 5 years ago, I told my one of my technicians, man, if I could get $30 a computer, I would be killing it. And then now I've been in it. I'm like, that was stupid.
Right.
But
and to get rid of that 2080, right? You don't feel that they fit your model anymore, right? Because the truth is, there are only 3 ways to deal with a customer, right? Acquire a new one, upsell a current one, or make one buy more frequently. And it's 20 times harder to acquire a new one. So you got to supersize everybody's fries. Have you really tried to, move them over at all that lower margin? Because yes, I agree if you have to cut that out, but have you tried?
yeah, we spent the last 3 years moving clients over, and I've still got a few clients that are just right on the verge of moving. And I think that definitely is the way to go. And I continue to upsell them on other, like right now we're seeing a lot of compliance, cybersecurity. I'm doing a lot with Bruce McCullough and his group, Galactic Advisors, and it's, so I see yes, I got to move those clients over. And it's going to be the hard truth is I need to go and tell those clients, look, maybe you need to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And that's what I need to do. And it's just hard for me to let somebody go sometimes because I bend over backwards and I got to quit doing that.
Got it. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jay.
All right, congratulations.
Oh my gosh.
Give it up for Jay Hill. I don't want to brag. I'm good at coaching these guys. And we worked for 2.5 months on those tears, man. We were like, you got to bring the tears right at the end. Just bring it. He's like, I haven't cried in 20 years. I didn't cry at my kid's wedding. I'm like, you're crying. Get it together, Jay. And we worked on it. And boy, did he deliver, right? He came through right at the last moment. Now, in all seriousness, though, right, we did focus on that, the non-financial benefits, right? Financial success can have non-financial benefits, right? And if all you do is build a business that ruins your life a little bit more than your business is currently ruining your life, right? And so what Jay said is, I want a business that makes my life better, that just isn't, the business isn't getting better, everything's getting better, right? So I love that stuff. All right, our next speaker is Conrad Martin. He's our tallest contestant in Better Your Best. He puts the rad in Conrad. He is the long-lost brother of Steve Martin. Please bring to the stage Conrad Martin.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, Sharks. Hey. Thank you very much for being here. I'm very excited to be here. I need the clicker, or this isn't going to go anywhere. Hello? Hi, Jeannie. I'm at the TMT event. I love you. I have to let you go.
Aww.
As everyone, that call just cost me a $100 donation to St. Jude. As everybody here may know, if you get a cell phone call during a TMT event, Robin asks that you donate $100 to St. Jude. Look, I don't mind contributing. Just 2022 started off pretty bad for us at Tech Advisors, and it got worse. Let me explain. Most of my clients are CPA firms. They're well-run, they're profitable, they got great IT, but that makes them the acquisition target of much larger CPA firms. So in 2021, at the very end, we lost 6 clients to acquisition. And through the first part of 2022, we lost 2 more. As my brother would say, that's not good. To make matters worse, regulatory compliance agencies were cracking down on compliance and what needed to be done. And our CTO was telling us that we had to start implementing compliance and security services for our remaining clients. Look, we couldn't afford to lose any more clients. So we knew we had a problem. We had a big problem, right? We were losing clients, our MRR was down, and our revenues were plummeting. This is how it looked for 2022. Minus 6 clients, $80,000 down in MRR, and revenues down by almost $1 million. That's not how you qualify for Better Your Best. So why am I up here? Well, to tell you the truth, as our world was crumbling around us, we knew we had something. We had a solution that we'd been using for years. And that solution was the Technology Marketing Toolkit. See, TMT has all the tools that we need to get new clients, more revenues, better growth, and to make ourselves the authority. I feel it's important for you all to know what our clients say about us, okay? After all, we had to sell to our current clients in 2022. So our clients started saying things like, we spend a lot of money on IT, but we trust you. You're great with CPA firms. Most of our clients are CPA firms. So at that point, it was becoming very tough to sell them more services. Right? We're going to ask them for more money. But I'll tell you what, I kind of like what our clients were saying about us. We had 54 clients, $3.2 million in 2021. Not bad, right? And we were working for CPA firms. And I'm going to tell you something. CPAs are a pain in the ass to work for. I should know. I am one. Here are the 3 things that we did that I feel really influenced our 2022. 1, We conducted webinars for CPA societies and insurance companies. Took the webinars right from here from TMT. Right, so we joined up with insurance companies and CPA societies. Number 2, we revamped the Closer Look campaign to prospects and clients, and that's important, and I'm going to explain that in the future. And number 3, we continue to make ourselves the authority in our area, and here are some of the awards we've won over the past 10 years. Here's how we sold the new services to our existing clients. We took the Closer Look campaign, we revamped it, and we made it client-facing as opposed to prospect-facing. And that's important, right? We went to that. We told the clients in that letter, there's really no option. You have to buy these services from us. We were drawing a line in the sand. And that was nerve-wracking because, like I said, we can't afford to lose any more clients. So we knew our clients were going to have questions and concerns. So we set up our technology business reviews and went to them with immediate response. We were methodic in what we told them, and we were honest in our response. And we went to every one of those meetings with a proposal in hand for the new services. We knew they needed them. What were the results of the client-facing Closer Look? We didn't lose another client. We heard things like, we trust you, we rely on you, and this is why we hired you. So TMT has made us the authority. It's their tools that we've used. Here are some of the pictures of the tools that they use. As Robin said today, if you're the authority, you're perceived as the expert. You are not perceived as the salesperson, and you can charge more money. So this is what we did. Here's our website. It's been Robinized. It's the TMT website. We do the Done For You newsletters. So the content and the things in those newsletters are associated with my name, so it makes us the authority. We use the self-published books. We did Empower Your IT, that's on the TMT. We did Hacked, and we also helped to author the book Cyberstorm, which was on Amazon #1 bestseller. We did the online Shock and Awe. We did them for our prospects. We also did them for our clients when upcoming events were coming. We did the Big Red Media. We were fortunate enough to be featured on a special edition of MSP Success magazine, and we provide bi-monthly magazines for our clients with superstars like Magic Johnson, Mark Randolph, Emmett Smith, and Mike Rowe. And I am the editor-in-chief. That makes us the authority. We have over 70 articles written by us and for us. And we're in things like Banker and Tradesman, the Boston Business Journal, CPA Journal, and many more. Last week, Boston Globe called me and asked me for an interview. They sought me out. Thank you. I told you about the cybersecurity webinar. We took it right from the TMT portal. We modified it for ourselves. We talked to local insurance companies. We talked to their clients, and we ended up winning 3 more clients. It's easy, and they're looking for that information. They want to, this is coming right from the TMT website. We did events. We were part of the Amazon movie that opened up in Hollywood, The Dark Web Uncovered. We did a local premiere in Dedham, Massachusetts to great reviews, and we hosted an event called Small Business Tech Day on December 15th with stars like Michael Michalowicz, Eric O'Neill, and Mr. Wonderful Kevin O'Leary. We hired a fractional marketing manager and a Sherpa from the TMT site. These services have been instrumental in our growth. So let's look how 2022 ended up. We went from 54 clients to 55, not very impressive. But thank you. Doesn't take much. I'm going to show you what happened to us on each one of these numbers. We lost 6 clients, so we ended the year with 7 new clients. We lost $80,000 in MRR, so we gained $164,000 in MRR to end up over almost $290,000. We're actually over $330,000 now. And our revenue was down almost $1 million. We gained $1.7 million in revenue, and we went up to almost $4.2 million in revenue. Our EBITDA went up by $76,000, and we hired 4 new employees. Luck favors the prepared, and we were prepared. We got our clients to spend 1/3 more with us every year. We didn't lose another client, and our gross margin on those new services are well over 70%. I wasn't going to sell it as just a markup. Awesome. To tell you the truth, there's a tool here at TMT that everybody should be using, I think most people are, and it's our accountability groups, the people that help support us and get us here. And I'll tell you what, my accountability group rocks, and they're right over here, and they're big guns. So thank you. 2023, TMT is influencing us. We've created a magazine called No that we're pushing out to CPA firms so they can see what other CPAs their size are doing. We also created a road show. We've already got events booked in Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Florida. Hello? Hi, honey. Yes, we had a fantastic 2022. Go ahead and send that check to St. Jude. So here's how things ended up. We did the Closer Look campaign to our clients and to our prospects. We did webinars with insurance companies. I encourage you to do that. It's free money, trust me. And we continue to make ourselves the authority. You can do this. It works. It's real. And it's part of TMT. As you can see, I'm a believer in TMT. I already feel like I'm your spokesperson. I just need you to make it official.
All right, Conrad, I'm going to go first because I already know you. You know, we're both Bostonians.
Right.
Why just CPAs? And I'll
My
tell you why I'm asking you that.
Because I like gluttony.
No, listen,
I like
I
punishment.
mean, if you think about financial services and the cost of compliance in all aspects of financial services, this is the world I live in, okay? Even in the Boston area alone, even within 50 miles of where you drive around, there are multiple IRRs or teams, independent financial advisors that have between $1 and $5 billion AUM, assets under management. They have teams of 50, 20, 30, 40 people. And they have to have compliant networking in every aspect of it. And they're not that margin concerned. I mean, they have to be compliant. It's not an option. Why aren't you talking outside of the CPA market? Because the CPA market, you had zero growth in number of clients.
Right. Yeah.
Let me say that again. Zero growth.
I know. Thank you, Mr. Wonderful. I appreciate that. We actually have some financial advisors that are clients of ours and have been for a long time.
Why aren't you going after more of them?
We're going to be going after more and more. That's why we're extending. That's why we're doing these road shows that we kind of took it after what Robin's doing. We think that they're going to be very successful. We created a magazine called No that's going to show CPAs what their competition is all about.
I love the marketing, but it's not producing the results I would expect given how far you've taken it. So chop, chop, man.
You got it, boss.
Like,
I understand. I appreciate the feedback. Thank you.
Can I ask something about the marketing? So how much, I love it too. I think Barbara, our colleague, said that I think in the 80s she came up with this kind of Corcoran's list of whatever, and it really got her well known. But that was at a time the internet didn't exist, right? How much of your time and energy is spent on that, on the creating of these publications? And I love the fact that you're becoming the authority. And how are you sourcing that information to validate that you're the authority in there?
So I was a CPA for 17 years. So I've got a relationship with a lot of the application providers, CCH, Lacert, Intuit, et cetera. So I've called them and asked them on the magazine portion, asked them for information on the size clients that using what, because there's a lot of different applications they use. They don't just do tax, they do a ton of other things. So that's part of what I'm putting together to create that magazine piece. And then as far as finding the time, I was a CPA, I used to take care of all of our stuff, and I've hired a CFO to take that over. So in the past 6 months, I'm looking to really put the marketing in high gear. I think that we've established ourselves with the proper pieces in the past 10 years. Because of TMT, we have the magazines, we have the authority, we have all that sort of stuff. So it's really time to put that on turbocharge, go after financial advisors and try to grow this thing.
And you believe that the magazine is the best key and the best way to market?
When I go to a CPA firm, be them a prospect or a current client, and I'm doing a TBR, which Technology Business Review, right? Almost the first question they ask me is, what's my competition doing? And my answer is, I didn't come here to tell you what your competition was doing. I came here to focus on you. And I realized I was missing something. I thought if I could produce something that I could put in front of them that said a 1 to 10 member CPA firm using Lacert or CCH, these are the products that they're using. They have internal admin or they don't. And this is how because CPAs don't really, it's not intrinsic on what's the flow of the work papers. So What I'm doing is putting something together, say, well, they're this size, they scan the work papers, they give them back. They're this size, they do this, they do that, or they do auto scan, or they use outsourced.
So you're giving
help.
them the information of what the entire industry is doing, right? And
Yes, sir.
that's the case. So how are you going to use that magazine or that outlet to acquire more people, right? Because sometimes what you do is go after, as Kevin is saying, a broader base of people, highlight them in the books, and for some reason or another, they all of a sudden want to do business with you. They feel like they're part of an organization. How are you doing that?
Well, so we're using the magazine for that purpose with CPA firms, but we're using the other marketing that we've done, and we have been reaching out to other industries. I mean, we've got we're right in Boston. We got people who graduated from MIT that do big jumbotrons. They did the jumbotron on 90, the one that broke for the first few years. That wasn't my client, but so we've got a plethora of different types of clients that we're now feeling comfortable enough to go after. And now that I'm running the marketing charge in our company, I think we're going to see great things.
Yeah, because it looks like you're maximizing the clients you have. To Kevin's point, the growth and bringing more in is obviously the scalability.
Yeah, so Conrad, great. When I looked at your numbers originally, I looked at the EBITDA margins around 9%. And you explained why. It makes a lot of sense. You had to really invest in marketing. Great job in the marketing.
Thank you.
Very tight. But one question I have is, as you're looking to grow into 2023 and 24, what do you think your margins are going to be? How do you get the EBITDA margins up into the 14, 15, 16% range? I mean, you dug yourself out of a hole really well. That was super impressive. I mean, it was a super, super good job.
Thank you, Fred.
What do you look at margins for the next 12 to 24 months, and where do you see that going?
I know best in class is around 20%, and that's what we're shooting for, right? Our marketing spend right now is about 15%, about $500,000. Now, that's a lot, and when people say, I had someone ask me the question the other day, well, I don't have that kind of money to spend. I'm like, oh, it doesn't start with that. You can do tech tips for free here, and your name's associated with it. So our EBITDA, we're going to be looking for 20%. We're going to be looking to hit over $5 million this year, and what our future growth is, we're looking for $7-10 million in the next few years.
So do you see your marketing spend as staying flat? As a percentage of revenue, how do you see that? How do you see the margin jumping? I mean, like I said, you spent a lot to dig out of a hole. Do you see that as marketing spend the same percentage of revenue the next couple of years?
Are you asking for Big Red, or are you asking for me personally?
Robin's not listening, I promise.
Okay. Our marketing spend is going to be about the same, I believe, as far as a percentage of our sales. I really believe in what we're doing here. I know that it works. I had someone, I was prospecting. I had someone tell me, I still haven't taken that aspirin. We do an aspirin campaign where we tape aspirin and say, if your current IT company is giving you a headache, take the aspirin. And they said, I still haven't taken your aspirin. It didn't matter. What I knew was that they got the letter and they still had the aspirin, and it was impressive to them. And so I really believe in the marketing that's happening here. I don't intend to slow down. We're part of the new book that's coming out that's going to be on Amazon called Compliance, because with my clients, it's very important to have compliance.
So a question first, Conrad. How many CPA firms are there in the United States?
Too many.
Never say that. Never say you have too many potential clients.
I believe there's around 75 to 100,000 of the size that we look for.
All right. So first of all, great presentation, but a massive disconnect for me.
Okay.
With you, your business, and the presentation. You have something that is very, very difficult to build. You have credibility. And credibility is the currency of profitability. Like, you are an expert in your field. You do an amazing job. You're a great presenter. I mean, look at you. Your shoes match your suit. I mean...
That's because of my wife.
It doesn't matter how you got here. You're a natural salesman.
Thank you.
And you're obviously a fighter because you were down and you brought the business back. So you're not a quitter. And you've done something which I always tell people, the smaller you are, the narrower your focus. Most small MSPs try to sell to everybody. You picked a vertical, you're great at it, you're credible at it, you're an authority, but you keep saying, in my area.
Yes, sir.
In my area. Are you afraid to get on a train? Are you afraid to fly? Like, why are you so small, regionally based?
I guess that's because we had enough business growing as we were. And I think that's one of the things.
Okay, stop for a second. You never have enough business.
Well, I agree with you. I agree with you.
Let's never say that.
And I think that the road shows that we're doing, I mean, we're reaching down into Florida to do those road shows, and these are only the first 4 that we're doing. We're planning on doing up and down the East Coast. We've got some connections in the CPA society, so that we're going to try to get our foot in the door in those societies, and then we're going to go after other verticals to be able to bring them up. We're currently going after healthcare right now.
Yeah, I don't know if Kevin gave you good advice. I don't know if I go outside.
Always gives good advice. Always.
But that's why I asked you. I mean, you're great at what you do. I think you got to go, man. Like you are the expert in that niche. Just expand your geographic footprint. And I mean, you're doing everything great. There's no reason you couldn't double your revenue by being in different regions. None. Congrats.
I appreciate it, Mr. Hirschbeck. Thank you all very much. I think that's the clicker. That is the clicker.
Conrad, do a good job. Make some noise if your MSP does business with CPAs. Make some noise. Yeah, so here's the bad news. Robert just told Conrad to ruin your lives. Right? Conrad's coming for you. He's in the Northeast. He's going to be spreading like a virus. He's coming your way. You need to figure it out, right? You need to figure it out. I love that quote. I wrote this down from Robert. Credibility is the currency of profitability, right? If you don't remember something from today, that's something to remember. And think about that. How many of you would like to be able to lose 6 major clients in a year and still end up for the year by quite a bit, right? A couple of notes, too. I'm backstage. Most of you aren't. When they said Robin's not listening, she screamed, "Yes, I am!" So she is listening. She is paying attention. She's back there by that monitor. She's into this just like the rest of you. I love it when Conrad said, I went from 54 to 55 clients, and one person cheered. And we know his wife picked his outfit, and she also tried to bail him out in that situation, give him a good cheer, and it wasn't enough. But then he called out his accountability group. Where were they when he was going 54 to 55? They didn't cheer. They're like, "You suck. That is BS." Like they were holding him accountable on stage. Boo, that's weak. Bring it, right? So, nice work for Conrad. Again, watch out if you're working with CPA firms. Our next speaker is Adam Spencer. He is the founder. A lot of people don't know this. A lot of people aren't talking about this. Of one of your favorite mall stores from the 1980s, Spencer's Gifts. A lot of people didn't know that. That's how he got his seed money for. Then he rolled that over, though. He's like Elon Musk. He rolls it over to the next big thing, Adam and Eve adult bookstores, right? Adam and Eve adult bookstores. He rolls it over. It's a play. It's a play. He pushes it, right? He pushes it. Then once he gets the capital he needs, then he starts the MSP. That's how he's gotten here to the stage. Please welcome to the stage, Adam Spencer.
So last July in Producers Club, I sat in the hotel lobby talking with fellow Producer Club members, David and Neil, about how to grow our businesses. I went home and implemented those changes, and by the end of 2022, we increased our MRR, monthly recurring revenue, $70,893, and our profits were up 76%. So listen close, because I'm about to tell you exactly how I did it. Who here knows how to cook really good meth? I know what you're thinking. I thought this guy got on stage selling IT services. Well, that's not where my story starts. Back in 2006, I just got married to my beautiful wife, Rachel, and we moved into a rundown apartment. Not long after we got moved in, I started getting sick. I mean, really sick. I was covered in hives from head to toe, and my throat would close off, and I needed multiple trips to the emergency room because I couldn't breathe. Long story made short, we found out that our apartment was contaminated with meth. We ended up losing everything.
Wow.
Including the clothes on our back, because everything was contaminated. The only thing that we got to keep was all the debt that we collected from buying everything we needed to start our new lives together. Oh, I also got to keep the hives that covered my entire body like giant welts for the next 15 years. In 2009, we decided it was time to start our family. And at our 20-week ultrasound, we found out that our daughter had hypoplastic left heart syndrome. It meant that the left side of her heart didn't develop. Zoe spent the first year in and out of the ICU and needed multiple open heart surgeries. Additionally, we no longer could afford to have office space, and we had to move our office into our basement. Now, I don't tell you about these problems to get your pity, but I want you guys to see that we literally started with less than nothing, and if I can grow my business, so can all of you. 2018, things were so hard that we had to take money out of our personal savings just to make payroll. That same month, we received a letter from Technology Marketing Toolkits, and it looked way too good to be true. But I was desperate, really desperate at this point. So I scheduled an appointment, and very soon, I received the TMT Shock and Awe box. And I remember what stood out to me the very, very most was their testimonial book. It was full of page after page of client reviews of how great TMT is. So I took the leap of faith. I put the cost of rapid implementation on the credit card because I had no other way to pay for it. Within the 90 days, we brought in over $14,000 of new monthly recurring revenue and closed over $467,000 worth of contracts. Every time we solve a problem, we grow, but we did encounter additional problems. We were sending out aspirin campaign letters, but the leads we were getting, they weren't qualified and they couldn't afford our services. It wasn't until the third time that I went to Rapid that I learned that we needed to clean our list better. By cleaning our list better, we were able to 3 times our marketing results with the same exact amount of effort. I gave a presentation on this back in January's Producers Club, and there are multiple people that are using this exact process and getting great results. Brian says, using Adam's list cleaning process, we've easily doubled our appointment rate each week. Every time we solve a problem, we grow. And problems just keep on coming. In 2021, we had a customer come to us that would have paid us $6,000 a month in monthly recurring revenue. Unfortunately, they went with another MSP that had more industry authority. Later that year, TMT talked about how to become the industry authority. So in 2022, we took their advice, and we created a Shock and Awe box. Inside that Shock and Awe box, we put our Amazon best-selling book, Cyberstorm, the MSP Success magazine that featured me on the cover, a video brochure that introduced me as the authority and talked about our security assessment process, and a testimonial book, just like the one TMT had, that had such an impact on me. And by the end of 2022, our closing rates were up to 67%. Every time we solve a problem, we grow. Now, some of this may sound like magic to you guys, but it's not. It's a numbers game. Robin was talking in July's Producers Club of last year, and while she was talking, I created this Excel spreadsheet. This Excel spreadsheet allows me to enter in my growth goals, and it not only tells me what I need to do to hit that goal, but it even calculates and tells me how much it'll cost. Now, this is customizable to any company, and when somebody enters in some crucial pieces of information, we are able to calculate their percentages. Based on their percentages and what they want to grow by, we can put together their entire marketing plan and budget for the year. I shared this file with the whole community as well, and people are using that and also having great success. Paul says, Adam's presentation on marketing by numbers was a game changer. His spreadsheet enabled us to restructure our marketing plan for predictable growth. Every time we solve a problem, we grow. Now, when I say every time we solve a problem, we grow, I'm talking about this community, the TMT community. Every time this community has a problem, we solve it together, we grow. My accountability group. I can't say enough good things about my accountability group. These guys have become some of my best friends, and every time any one of us has an issue, we work together on it, and together we solve it, and together we grow. But it's not just my accountability group. It's the entire TMT community. It was Neil and David who led me and opened my mind to see such a bigger picture of what my company could become. It was Robin who taught me how to grow by numbers. Every time we solve a problem, we grow. It was rapid implementation that taught me I need to clean my list better. Every time we solve a problem, we grow. I tried for over a decade to get my office out of my basement, and I never could do it alone. It wasn't until I attended Rapid that led me to this community and changed my life and the lives of my family forever. Medical bills are no longer a burden. Our house is now our home. And I was even also able to get rid of my hives with a can of cherry Coke a day. I don't know why it works, but it does. Every time we solve a problem, we grow. So find those problems in your business and in your life. Don't address them with dread. Face them head on, because every time we solve a problem, we grow. Now, Sharks, I brought for each of you a shock and awe box so that you could see what it is that we use that has allowed us to increase our closing rate to that 67%. And the reason that I deserve your guys' vote today is the systems I just talked to you guys about, the shock and awe box, the marketing by numbers, sending out the digital ads. These are things that are all repeatable. They're scalable to any growth goal, and that's what these systems and processes is what grew our MRR by over $70,000 and increased our profits by 76%. Thank you.
All right, can we set the clock at 7 minutes? It had an extra 6 minutes on it, please.
So I have a question right out of the gate here. You know, you didn't talk much about the customer base you've built. You're very successful. Congrats on coming out of a tough place in 2018. That's good. But all of this marketing, all of this effort, if I look at the base, what percentage of them now are annual contracts? What are monthly? In other words, my question is, what's the quality of all of that work? What do you got in a customer base?
I love that question. So when we started with TMT, we had 0 monthly recurring revenue. Well, I guess we had a couple clients, but very
monthly
little.
recurring. I want to know how many are locked in for a year or longer.
Oh yeah, every one of them. At this point, we've completed over to a complete MSP, and every one of our clients are locked into usually a 3-year contract.
Wow, good for you.
Do you know I've got investments in so many companies, some of them now spending $2 million a month on digital marketing. And I always ask them, do you know what it costs you to acquire a customer? Because the biggest excuse people make, including some of you in this room, is to say, well, that campaign didn't yield great results, but it helped build our brand. Yeah. I say bullshit.
I agree with you.
If it didn't bring in a customer, you wasted that money.
Yes.
So what does it cost you to acquire the next
using that Excel sheet that we created, I know my exact cost. It costs us $4,532 to get a client.
You know that number.
I know that number.
I like you even more.
So Adam, one question, just piggybacking on the previous question. What is your customer base like? Is it geographically focused, vertically focused? And the second part is, what is your pricing philosophy? How do you price? You know, for gold, silver, bronze, machine, person? Love to hear a little bit about that.
Yes. Start off with your first part of your question. So we're based in Salt Lake City, Utah. So we've started with that market. Last year we had roughly 3,000 people that were in our farm list that we were marketing to. And we do that within a 75-mile radius of our office. They have to have at least 10 employees. They have to have over $1 million in revenue. And usually we find if they go over that 100 employees, usually they have some kind of a co-managed plan that we go with. This year, we're doubling down on that, and we're taking everything we did last year, and we're trying to get our list up to that 6,000 and double down on everything that we did. And then second part of the question was what our plans look like. So we have a managed service plan. That's where most of our customers are on, is that plan. We do have a lower plan if they don't want to quite do that. We call it our Cyber Care plan. Cyber Care does not include service. And then we have our Security Plus that gives managed service. It's an add-on to that.
When you decided to clean the list, you said your conversion rate was what? And then you had to go further into it. Explain that further again, because because of the audio, I missed a little bit.
No, you're good. So when we first started, we were sending out all these campaign letters. We were getting leads in, and we did that 3 times results. And what we did that off of was based off of the qualified leads that we were getting, because we were getting people that were coming in and they were interested in us, but they couldn't afford us. And so by us cleaning our list, we were getting the same number of leads, maybe a few more, but now they could afford us, and then they converted.
And did you find that you improved the communication, the delivery of the services, or you found that you just went after more viable clients as you dug deeper into cleaning the list?
I would say we have way more viable clients by cleaning our list, and so I think that was the main focus, was just to get in front of that right audience.
Okay.
And Adam, what software stack do you use to manage the customers?
Talking about marketing or on the
Yeah,
service
like when you
side?
sell a managed service for the devices, are you using Fred software? Like, no, but I'm
You
just
really put me on the
Mark
spot
comment?
here.
No, I'm just, where I'm really going with the question is, a lot of the software stacks, including your software stack, you can log into to make updates, to make patch. I mean, that's the whole beauty of the software stack. So I'm asking because you keep saying 75-mile radius. Multiple times you said the customer is my addressable market. And I'm wondering, why are you limiting yourself to 75 miles? Because if the value of you taking care of my network is you can log in, you can do the updates, you can update my antivirus, you can update all the other stuff, how often do you physically have to go on site?
Those are all good questions. I feel like the point that you're trying to get to is why are we not going bigger? And the big point is we have to start somewhere, and we started with nothing. We've built it to that 3,000. We'll build it to 6,000. That's probably our whole area that's in that market, and we can't grow any faster than that, and that's when we expand. So if we can do it close and regional, let's do it there. But as soon as we get our list built up, that's the plan. Right. Keep on growing, keep doubling down.
I guess my question, I agree with you. You don't want to grow too fast. Sometimes. It's better to grow too fast than not grow at all. I will say that. But why, is there a comfort with geographic area? Is there just,
we find that a lot of people like to have that FaceTime, so they like to have somebody that will come out and visit them once in a while. So we can do 99% probably of everything we do is remote, and the customers know that.
Adam, you're a great presenter, first of all, and I think you're selling yourself short. I agree with you. People like the comfort of a regional business. You know, like, hey, are you guys local? I mean, when I started my company, I'd fly to New York, and people say, are you local? And I say, I can be here once a week, right? Like, if the deal is big enough, I'll be local. You're a very, very good presenter. And I just think you got to go where the business is. You have a phenomenal business and, you know, a great story. Congratulations.
So to further Robert's question is then, when you want to scale, can you replicate, you believe you could replicate that business and not have to physically show up?
So our story, we got to a certain limit and we just thought we could grow by making our processes and our company maturity better without marketing. And we thought, oh, the business is just going to come. But it doesn't. Without marketing, the business doesn't come. So I feel like we are a more mature on a process level than probably most companies that are our size.
How many people have you hired to sell?
So we have 6 people on our marketing and sales team right now.
I mean,
so we are really
salespeople,
investing.
not marketing people,
Sales.
salespeople.
Salespeople, we have 2.
Have what?
2.
2.
Not enough.
I agree. As soon as we get more money, we'll keep hiring them. We invest right now, last year we invested 12% into marketing, so it's higher than the average. This year, where we're trying to double down on everything, we're taking that up to 19%, but it'll only be there for a couple months, and then it'll drop back down as we're
But
bringing.
why, I think Kevin has a good question, why don't you have more salespeople? You know, I happen to come from another industry, and I think that's maybe why I'm here, because sometimes I look at it with a different lens. You know, the most successful store for a while in New York City was called Century 21. And I asked the guy, I said, why are you so successful? He said, well, you see what you see here more than anything else? I said, what? He said, registers. And he said, because the reason why, a lot of times, people are dying to give you the money. They're standing online, they have their clothes, and then all of a sudden they go, I'll come back for it. Or a mother's there and the kid is crying, like, Jesus Christ, I can't take this, I'll come back. Or there is nobody at a register. He said, I will always take your money. Why are you not going out and having more registers instead if you have a viable product?
That's a valid question. So I think that's the next step. We've got to keep just pushing it and doing everything that we can to keep pushing it. And I think that's
you know,
a great next step.
I think Robert's asking the same question.
Yeah, Robin has a great business, but you're doing something that very few people do. I mean, we all go to all these seminars, people tell you how to do things, how to improve. Very few people actually leave the event and put it in place. You've executed, my friend.
Yeah.
You put together a spreadsheet. You're doing
Yeah,
it.
you are doing it, man.
All right? But,
Yeah.
but I think to Damon's point, the next step is I would just be more aggressive with the sales component. And I think you can continue to scale the marketing because you're obviously doing it.
And you know, just take it with a grain of salt, because I had the same conversation with my wife, and she told me to sleep on the couch. So we know you've overcome a lot, and we just are excited for you. So we want you to
So
do
in
bigger
that
and
answer of 2 salespeople, is one of them you?
No.
And Adam, you have the margins to do it.
If
You're
you
doing-
count me, then that'd be 3. So
You're doing 20% margin, so you can keep your base. You can even lower your margin to invest
His
more in
EBITDA is
sales to grow.
amazing.
You got good margins at your size, so
Yeah. All right.
great.
They were good guys?
thank you.
All right, congratulations.
Great story about something I never thought of.
Me neither until you told me. I was like,
Here's what's happening. Some of you started off, you were pumped. The Sharks are here. How cool is this? This is going to be amazing. Then they're telling every Better Your Best contestant to go nationwide and double their sales team. And half of you are out there going, oh shit. Like some of you won't even be here for the rest of it. You're heading back to hunker down and start figuring out what the hell you're going to do after this. I think they missed one key point of what Adam's doing really, really well. His home base is Salt Lake City, Utah. He doesn't need to expand regionally. He doesn't need to expand at all. That's the highest population growth in the U.S. Those Mormons are cranking him out. He's in the right spot. That's natural, organic growth right there. Those people are making the people. They're all right there. But in all seriousness, 2 of the things that he said that really stuck out to me, he put rapid on his credit card, right? So you know he has the faith, right? Some of you are talking about it, right? Push a little farther, you know he has the faith. He put rapid on his credit card, right? He believed, and it paid off for him. I thought that was powerful. And how many of you want to copy that spreadsheet, right? Right, Mr. Wonderful goes, what's your cost per, he's like 4,005, even to the dollar, right? 4,573. And even you were like, oh, okay, yeah, that's, wow, okay. And he does, he's got it all in the spreadsheet. You change one number on that spreadsheet, all the numbers change on that spreadsheet. It is powerful. I'd really encourage you to check it out. All right, our next speaker is Stephen Taylor. We did our first call. These people are committed, by the way, right? They're running their business, and they're preparing for this, and they put hours and hours and hours. We did our first call. He was stuck in his car in a blizzard in a parking lot in Chicago, and he didn't say, hey, I can't do this. He was like, let's do this thing. And we did an hour-long call getting all of this stuff set up while the snow was just piling and piling and piling on top of his car, and we prepared for this. So it's Stephen Taylor. It's not Steven Tyler. I wanted it to be Steven Tyler so bad. It is Stephen Taylor. A lot of people don't know this, the founder of TaylorMade Golf Clubs. Please welcome to the stage, Stephen Taylor.
Sharks. So how many of you worry that if you go too fast, the wheels will come off? It's pretty scary, right? I'm here to tell you how you can double or even triple your business, just like we did in the last year, tripling our company while I got married, moved 3 times, renovated a house, and our son was born. My motto, go fast, don't die. Remember when you were a kid, you were riding your bike outside, pedaling as hard as you could, you were flying downhill, you were maybe going 12 miles an hour. Nowadays, you'll get in your car, heading down the interstate, doing 70 miles an hour, not even knowing what you're doing, and text messaging your friends. It's insane. But the more we do it, the faster we go. I love racing, but I didn't start out by going 161 miles an hour in a Ferrari straight into the sunset. It took practice over the years. Go fast, don't die. And the biggest thing I've had to change over the years has been my mindset about what's possible. We all have these limiting beliefs, and I had to get out of my head and get out of the way that sales is too hard, and we can't do this, and we need our operations in the right alignment. Andretti said, if everything seems under control, you're not going fast enough. 10 years ago, I came to the Opryland here in Nashville for my first boot camp. I watched 7 Better Your Best finalists who all tremendously grew their business, including Tom Andrulis. He added $2 million in revenue. We also heard from Mike Michalowicz, who told us to make our business our bitch and taught us how to profit first. Hooked on the Kool-Aid, as you can imagine, I joined Producers Club. I wanted to know how to grow and fast. And that year we did. We added $500,000 in revenue to our business and closed that year at $1.3 million. The biggest key to my success that year, I fired myself. I was no longer a technician doing tickets in the business, and I had a different mindset about growth. I joined an accountability group, F5, where we all challenged ourselves to grow past that $5 million mark. Surround yourself with other race car drivers who will challenge you. Go fast, don't die. I next set my vision on $2 million and winning an Inc. 5000 award. And in 2016, we just missed that mark. I realized where I had taken my foot off the gas, and I believe that challenges are just life's way of testing you to see if you're serious. In 19, not only did we get that Inc. 5000 award, but we had surpassed $3 million, and I thought we were going fast. But what I didn't realize was I could go faster. And now, with everything that Robin has put out here in TMT over the years, anybody can do that. Over the years, I've met each one of these fine sharks, even Barbara, and I've been here 4 times a year, every year, to surround myself with like-minded people, to learn the tools and techniques that are going to grow our business, but most of all, to change my mindset about what is possible. In 2020, we hit a bit of a ceiling. We were a little bit flat at $3 million for 2 years in a row, and I had gotten out of a rough season in my personal life. I now believe that the growth of an organization is directly tied to the growth of an individual. But at the time, I really struggled. We had heard from Greg Crabtree, who told us about the valley of death in business at 3 and 5 million, and I felt the doom. I worried that maybe this is all I could do. I worried, maybe I should sell this business. How many of you have ever worried about or thought maybe I should sell? And I think that's a good thing. I think it means that you're trying hard enough. So I did what any entrepreneur should do. I ran away. I took a road trip. I went out to the East Coast and Jekyll Island, where we watched COVID boot camp with Marcus Lemonis, who told us to press on the gas as fast as you can. I headed out west in the van, past the Colorado River, out to a real valley of nothing called Joshua Tree. So yes, go ahead and say it, I lived in a van down by the river. I gave myself time to really reset and reflect and really look at what I wanted. Selling my business for $1 million, that wouldn't last long. And I'm an entrepreneur, which also means I'm unemployable. When I really looked in the mirror, I realized that I wasn't growing, I wasn't taking on risks, and I wasn't challenging myself. So I painted a new vision for my life, one that I call a wholly successful life, and I actually wore that vision in my pocket for the years to come. But being in an industry where 50% of us add less than 5 clients a year, I thought, this is way too slow. And I want to go fast. I wanted fuck yeah growth. I wanted go fast, don't die. So I looked ahead and I saw the opportunity with acquisitions. And it turns out we're all in the acquisition business. But why acquire 1 or 2 clients at a time when you can buy 10 or 20 or 50 clients at a time, and you'll get all the employees you need at the same time? So we looked ahead to do an acquisition. Go fast, don't die. Now, did I know how to do an acquisition? Did I know what steps to take? Of course not. I challenged myself to figure it out. And what do we do in IT when we don't know how? We Google it. And 6 months later, we did our first acquisition with a bit of our own cash. That year, we did $4.3 million, alongside the $500,000 in organic growth that we did. And the only reason for that growth was that I challenged myself and I took on new risks. I stayed focused on my vision. I got into the relationship that I wanted, and in Christmas 2021, we decided to have the best year ever. You know what's more exhilarating than sending out mailing campaigns? Taking on debt. That shit will motivate you. We took on our second acquisition, a much larger one, 3 times the size. And a new challenge arose in that I didn't have $1 million sitting in my pocket to buy. Just 7 days before we were to close, the SBA loan finally came through, and the money was in our bank account, and we were able to close on a $2 million business. Last year, we also organically added 16 clients and $66,000 in recurring, alongside the $140,000 in recurring that we paid for. So both ways work, organic and acquisition. Last year, we did $7.6 million with about $1 million net. It's been a life-changing experience in so many different ways, but the biggest change for me is my mindset. I now see even more possibility, and I've got a path for us to get to $29 million by 2029. We wanted to go faster, so we left the race car behind, and we got in a helicopter and took that across the valley of death, and we're now almost at $10 million. We've broken through another ceiling. Thank you. Thank you. Along the way, life and business has grown to being more than just about me trying to figure out how to survive. It's now about the impact that we bring for all of our clients and every single one of our team members, and now it's about our family and my son Wilder. I cannot tell you any of this has been easy. It has been downright challenging more than a few times. But the faster we go, the more we break through and the more we're able to accomplish. Because it turns out that speed has never killed anyone. Suddenly becoming stationary, that's what gets you. So go, build a new vision, take on new risks, challenge yourself, grow your business, and change your life. Just remember, go fast, don't die. Thank you.
So Steve, it's a great story. It's a great story. I love the energy. I love the fact that you have no idea what you're doing and you do it and you figure it out when it goes.
Yeah.
Fake it till you make it, and that's outstanding. So M&A is interesting. There's a lot of M&A happening in the industry, and I like the way you phrased it. You phrased it by acquiring customers is easier and cheaper than going and only organically getting them. Yet at the same time, you're also tracking your organic growth, which is great. So my question goes into the M&A side of it. When you're integrating the different businesses that you're acquiring, we see a lot of challenges. A lot of churn happens usually at month 14 or 15 after an acquisition. That's the data in the industry. You know, a small entrepreneur has a local MSP. They sell it. After a year, their customers maybe lose a little bit of attention. How's that gone for you? What has your churn been like in the acquired customers you've received, both revenue and logo churn? And how do you kind of handle that and address it?
Yeah, we've done 4 acquisitions, and so 2 of them, the sellers stayed with us, which I think is a huge differing point because the customers love that former owner, right? And so those first 2 have done really well, right? Not only has the book stayed, we've been able to upsell it, and they're sticking around, and we're doing net new logos even from their network and the people that they've known. In the last 2, and these are very recent, but seller did not stay, and we're seeing that bit of challenge, and so it's requiring more effort from us to go out there and really earn that business. Now, the beauty in it, and all of us are seeing this, clients are not making switches, right? We're getting new proposals out there, and they go, we didn't change, we stayed. And so it takes a lot to lose a customer, and so thankfully because of that, we're able to say, hey, look, we're here, we want to take care of you, and I know we're not the old guy or the old shop or whatever, and certainly we have some of those employees. It just takes maybe a little bit more effort when the seller hasn't stayed on.
So you've done 4 deals. You're almost at 15% EBITDA, which is best of breed, I assume.
Arch was 20.
Of 20?
Arch was 20.
Okay. So what did you pay? What was the multiple on EBITDA?
Yeah. When we're looking at deals, we're typically trying to pay maybe 4 or 5. Now, the beauty is that, of course,
EBITDA.
Correct.
4 or 5?
4 or 5x.
Did you pay more than 5 for anybody?
No.
And what was the average customer base they had when you bought it?
They're all over the board. I mean, one was 35 customers, one was 100 customers, another one at 30. So we're doing some smaller deals.
And if you were going to sell your business today, what do you think you'd get for it?
You might get 5 or 6.
Might get what?
Might get 5 or 6 EBITDA.
Okay, so why aren't you doing more deals? It's very accretive.
I need more money.
I mean,
banks, the banks that I've talked to are having a hard time getting on thesis with what we're trying to do. Our debt service coverage ratio is within what I understand to be the norms. I'm figuring this shit out as we go along here. Yeah. Our leverage is 2, not even 3. But banks are like, no, we can't do it.
And that leverage, are you paying that off every month on principal?
Yeah.
So you're servicing the debt. You have a history of service.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, we have to be profitable to serve that debt, or I have a problem.
Well, I mean, you're the speed, don't die guy. I mean, you should go for the gusto and start rolling here. Because, I mean, this is very accretive.
Yeah. The challenge now is, of course, finding deals where they're not everywhere, right? And funding. You know, if I could get more funding, I think we could go faster. I've actually lost a deal because we didn't have funding.
Have you thought about equity partners?
Yes and no. I really think I can do this and get to 30 million in the next handful of years, and then maybe I'll reevaluate.
I wouldn't go to equity at this size. You're going to take
too
a
early.
big hit. Yeah, you're going to take a
Yeah.
big hit.
But-
I mean, I think, look, first of all, fantastic presentation. The energy's amazing. It's so obvious to me that you're a leader. You're more of a leader than a manager, which is what you need. And I mean, what's the definition of entrepreneur? Somebody who jumps out of an airplane and builds a parachute on the way down, right? And that is
doing it in a
you,
race car,
man.
but yeah.
I think we were $5.5 million, and I did my first acquisition. I bought a $5 million company. And I negotiated the deal, had the customer base, the whole 9 yards, went to the bank to get the money, and they said, can you show me the statements from the other company and what the accretive growth rate is? And I went, I'll be back. I didn't even know enough to ask for their statements. Sure. I'm like, this is a great business. We should buy this. How are you paying for the deals? Is it always cash? Have you tried an earn-out?
Yeah, some of the first two had earnouts as a component, seller notes, a little bit of cash, like any way to get the deal done.
But somebody lent you some money, right?
SBA.
That was a regional bank, right?
Yeah.
How many employees did you have in 2021?
I mean, now we've bolted up to 52, so we were
I'm saying
probably
in 2021, how many did you have?
30 maybe 35.
So the government, have you got your employee retention credit?
Yeah.
You got it already?
Yeah.
What'd you get, 450,000?
No, not that much. So I need to ask again.
No. I mean, all my companies are applying for that. With 50, we're getting as much as 600,000.
Yeah.
I got a question. So on Shark Tank, just we don't know anything about anybody, and we got a little blurb here. It says your EBITDA was 14%, but you said it was 20%.
Yeah, 14 for the total of last year. In March, we did 20%.
And how much are you consolidating of the acquisitions? Are they running independently or?
No, we've taken the thesis. We're staying in Chicagoland. The market is big enough for us to get to where we want to be, and we've taken the thesis that our brand, the way we do things, is important to us. We don't want little islands of the acquisition companies, and so we're fully integrating. It is a pain in the ass, but I believe it's the right way to do it.
It never gets easier, no matter how big you get.
Yeah.
Why not do bigger deals with earn-out?
Absolutely. Now that I've gotten us to where we are, I took whatever I could get because I was like, let's do this.
Because when you do the first one and you go to somebody and say, sell me your business, I'll pay you over time, nobody believes you.
Yeah.
But you've
Now
done
we can do it.
4.
You've gotten history.
And there's lots of MSPs out there and other people that are, older, that maybe they want to retire, they want some liquidity. You could keep going, man.
Totally. And
Are you
now that
showing
we're-
that process of the history? Because Robert's explanation of an entrepreneur where he grew up is very different than mine. Where I grew up, an entrepreneur was somebody that set your house on fire and then sold you a water hose to put it out. So, I'm saying I grew up in the hood. So, where's the history you're showing? Because I think Robert did say something about credibility, and where are you showing that history? Because that's what I think you're going to sell now. It's a great story here. This is an amazing story. And sometimes it's not really the capital, the cash that they need to see. They need to see something forward-facing that Robert said, I'm going to be able to give you the money,
Yeah, it's a really hard industry to be in, and a lot of guys have slogged at it for a long time. The thesis is that they can come join us, take some chips off the table, so to speak, really get on the rocket ship and still have fun with it. And some of the sellers, our 2 sellers are doing that now and enjoying it. And it's a hell of a lot easier than trying to slog your way through it yourself. I'll take the brunt of that challenge.
All right, so we're good, guys?
Yeah.
Good.
Thank you all.
Great job.
Thank you.
So we Google things and we don't know what's going on. I'm back there Googling fucking accretive. What the fuck? I didn't know. I was back there just trying to figure that out. I wasn't even able to find it. Quick update on time. So we started with a 15-minute cap But they were asking great questions. You all were loving it, and we gave the first couple people a little extra time, so now we've just locked in a little extra time so that everybody gets a fair shake. So just so if you're paying attention to that. Did you catch that the Go Fast, Don't Die guy, Go Fast, Don't Die, he named his kid Wilder, right? That is awesome. That kid will definitely grow up and live in a van down by the river. I also love any presentation where we're discussing debt service coverage ratios. I think that gets me going. That gets me jacked up. But 2 quotes from his. He wants to live a wholly successful life. I think that's fantastic. And he said, challenges are life's way of testing you to see if you're serious. I think that's some good stuff there. All right, our last speaker. How are you enjoying it so far? Our last speaker is Tommy Thornton. He's a long-lost brother of Billy Bob Thornton. A lot of people aren't talking about that. Always remember, every rose has a Thornton. Please welcome to the stage, Tommy Thornton.
My goodness. I mean, look at all the millionaires. Not just the ones here on stage, but I want everybody in the room to look at the tables across from you. Look at the seats right next to you. I am honored to be on stage in such an incredible company sharing my story. My name is Tommy Thornton with Automates, and I have been a TMT partner for 11 months. Let that sink in. In 11 months, I went from out there, no sales and marketing, to up here as a Better Your Best finalist. You see, my mother came to Croatia, from Croatia to the United States when There you go. There you go. My mother came from Croatia to the United States when she was 21 years old.
Was there a rat in the boat with rice?
Yeah, that's Robert, so we've heard that for 14 years.
She planted us in South Georgia, and for the better part of our lives, for the better part of my life, she raised me on a single income. You know, I watched her struggle and break her back, working tirelessly as a produce manager to give me a better life. That tenacity, that immigrant spirit was instilled in me at an early age, which led me to joining the Marines. Following the Marines, I returned back home to start my first IT company. And amazingly, I somehow convinced my girlfriend at the time to take out a $50,000 loan with me. Guys, don't judge. That girl and I, we celebrate our 20th year wedding anniversary this year. I love you, my rose. So, guys, my first IT company almost killed me. We were break and fix and nothing ever improved. All of my hard work that I put into the business just got me more hard work. I mean, we weren't producing anything. And so I know I needed to make a change. And so when my daughter Juliana was born in 2007, my wife and I, we knew that we needed to make a change. So in 2013, we moved from Georgia to California. And we loaded up the truck and we moved to San Diego. And we were broke. We were back at zero. We were forced to move in with family where the 3 of us shared a small California room for over 12 months, literally surviving off of welfare and family support. Now, I knew I needed to go back to work. So in 2014, we started Automates. And then, you know, just because I moved to California, it didn't automatically just make me into a better CEO, but the power of being broke, Damon, certainly helped. You know, I had a gut-wrenching moment one morning when my daughter said to me, when I was on the way out the house, she said, "Daddy, see you tomorrow." See, and she had gotten used to me never being at home, and that changed me. And with a new vision and a clear why focused firmly around my wife and daughter, I went to work on myself. Grinding, I built up Automates to the point that we can convert it into an MSP. And in 2019, I celebrated the fact that I hit $270,000 in total gross revenue. I hired my first employee and then my second in 2020. And by 2021, I was already seeing trouble ahead with stagnant growth. We had converted nearly all of our mature clients into our MSP services and had nothing coming into the pipeline. So in 2022, bear with me, guys. Boy, it's tough being up here. So in 2022, when we finally started asking the right questions, we found the Technology Marketing Toolkit. And in come Robin and the Technology Marketing Toolkit team to the rescue. You know, up until the point of joining the toolkit, we had nothing, mind you. And so even the power of TMT began immediately. So even before attending Rapid, with just a few session videos under my belt, I wanted to set this up for you guys. So I left my office that morning at 8:30. In 4 hours, and by 12 o'clock noon, I had closed on $77,000 of new annual reoccurring revenue. I was so damn excited that I called my wife, Rose. Yeah, y'all can clap. So I was so incredibly excited, that I called my wife, Rose, on the way home. I said, babe, we're going to the Cheesecake Factory. I mean, it was for real, right? So following Rapid, we were armed with the tools and a new skill set. We had map integration. We launched our TBR campaign, accompanied by our 9-word emails. We had a simple referral campaign. Now, up until joining TMT last year, we joined in May, we had not added a single client. In June alone, we closed 5 new contracts and finished off the year with 14 new clients. We added $33,000 in monthly reoccurring revenue. We finished the year at $1.9 million in total gross revenue. Yeah. Now, the next one, $400,000 in profit, sitting slightly above 21% NOI. And in December, I finally received that coveted invitation to Producers Club, and I attended my first PC meeting just 2 months ago in San Diego. Guys, Robin always tells us to keep your foot on the gas, so we have to pedal to the metal. From 3 employees in 2020 to 11 in 2023. We have added Shock and Awe. We have added our fractional marketing manager. We have added our Sherpa services. We have started our aspirin campaign. I am hosting webinars and actively doing speaking engagements. I am developing our JV partnerships within our target market. We just hired our first sales director to help us build out the sales team. And did I mention MSP success, guys? So, in 11 months, I cannot put a price on what TMT and the entire community has meant to me. However, in those 11 months, we have added $60,000 of new MRR, 21 clients to date with a total contract value of $2.2 million. Thank you. I am no longer a prisoner in my business. I'm no longer a technician. Seeing the organization for the first time from 30,000 feet, guys, and my daughter, Juliana, now at 15, is proud of her daddy. Super proud. So who in here wants to know how we got so much success so fast? Say yeah.
Yeah.
No, this is Robin's show in boot camp. If you want to hear how we got success so fast, say hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Guys, the way we got so much success so fast that we put 80% of our focus on expanding our existing client business while we scaled up, staffed up, and cashed up. This also allowed me the opportunity to deliberately focus on our trust-based marketing strategy. We are in Southern California, one of the most competitive markets in the United States, and we were still able to achieve these numbers in that market, and only doing so by branding ourselves as an authority, right? I want my story here today, guys, that I'm sharing to the community, that I'm sharing with you, to not only to inspire the room, but I want it to resonate into an entire TMT community. I want to help the new partners coming into the program and guide them in by example. I hope to recapture the imagination of some of the veterans out here and push them past their limitations. I know it will be difficult, but I stand ready and I accept the challenge. Guys, I want to thank the TMT coaches. Will Nobles, you literally changed this my operation, with a single phone call, and I appreciate it. To Danielle Robinson, who held my hand at Rapid 55 and literally helped me take that leap of faith to start my first TBR campaign. And to my fractional marketing manager, Alex Duckenfield, you continue to challenge me every single week to push past, to push me out of my comfort zone. And then to my accountability group that sits right here off stage. The brutal honesty of an accountability group in the TMT, it can only be experienced firsthand. Guys, yeah. I want to also mention to my accountability group I'm so proud of, we also have 3 top 12 semifinalists in this year's Better Your Best coming out of our one group. And I want to thank Robin Robbins. Every time I was practicing this is when I started to cry. But Robin, thank you for giving me the tools to finally add value to all of my hard work. I appreciate it. And to my team back at home watching me from San Diego, Team Automates, let's go, baby.
You know, I think I was describing Robin to one of my team, and I said, I've never met her. How will I recognize her? And I said, oh, Robin is a force of nature.
Yeah.
She needs no introduction. But as great as Robin is, I want to applaud you for putting it to work.
Thank you.
It's one thing for people to tell you how to do it. It's a whole nother thing to execute. So, I mean, and thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Like, what do you think is next for you? I mean, incredible to this point, 1.9 million, fantastic, but there's no rear view mirror.
Yeah.
Looking forward, what's the next step?
We hope this year, Robert, we expect to add, another 4 or 5 employees this year. We're building out our sales team. Right now, we're an IT company trying to do sales, and we recognize that. We're wanting to become a sales company that's doing IT. And so that's where we're heading. The next big hire for me, I'm looking for, an operations manager so I can take that step back to even get a higher view and then work on our metrics. That's the big step.
I think, Tommy, the only thing I would say to you is you're a great salesperson.
Thank you.
I think that one of the mistakes I see with too many small businesses and small MSPs is you should always outsource your marketing. Be very careful about outsourcing your sales. Outsource your ops, outsource your finance, outsource your accounting, but you are the best salesperson this company is going to have for a very long time. That would be my only point. Congrats.
Thank you.
Tommy, can I ask you a couple of questions about the San Diego, La Jolla region? A lot of government contractors in there, tremendous amount of service businesses. A lot of these clients you have, did you have to go through an RFP process to get them?
I'm sorry, I missed that last point of your question,
Did
Kevin.
you have to go through an application against others to acquire the business?
With our trust-based marketing, how it's worked so far, with our clients, they're only requiring CMC level 1. So right now, we haven't ran into that. We only have one co-managed solution that we're doing right now for a DoD contractor.
So do you have any government clients?
No, sir, not at the moment.
Have you thought about going after them?
Yes, sir. We're already positioning ourselves and making sure that I'm recognized in a business of being a veteran-owned business and fall into that.
That was my next question. The advantage you have, I hope you're using it, because women-owned businesses and veteran-owned businesses have a special place in America, and they're giving you lots of opportunity. Have you drawn down on all those asset opportunities? You even know about this stuff?
Yes, sir. I am aware of it. I am a veteran-owned business, and that's what we're working on right now.
You hire veterans too?
Yes, sir. We hire probably 50% veterans.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great. Yeah, Tommy, that's outstanding. One question for you. First off, the business sounds great. Your energy is amazing. I would absolutely agree with Robert 100%. You need to be doing your own selling as much as you can, because you could build your business 2, 3, 4-fold with you selling it still.
Thank you.
And when you're looking to add 4 or 5 people, I know you want to add some business people, some tech people, it's tough to find tech talent, particularly in California, particularly in Southern California. You have great EBITDA margins. You're 21%. That's best in class. How do you think about hiring in that market to develop to build the backlog of service delivery capability to hit the growth targets you're looking at and maintain your EBITDA margins?
So we're always looking for talent. We keep the positions open always. We're always looking for the resume that just hits us over the head. Also, San Diego just opened up this program, I believe, and I forget the name of it, but it allows us the opportunity to hire veterans where they will actually pay for their salaries for 6 months. And if I'm messing up the program, I hope no one holds me accountable for it, but yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. So we're looking to do that, to answer your question. Yeah.
Would you be able to take on larger accounts at this moment? Scale? Is that what you're waiting for? Is kind of like you've now figured it out?
Yes,
you're in position and you understand that you can take them on?
Yes, so we are looking to that. I'm ready to accept the challenge. I mean, right now, yeah, we started off here at the 1s, 3s, and 5 seats, and then, so now we're around, our common clients at 20 seats or more. We have a couple of clients that are over 100 seats, and a couple right there at 100 too.
And with the challenge, because you said you have an opening always available, with obviously the challenges we're having today of sourcing good and quality, employees. Why is that position always open right now?
We're just always looking for new talent. We pause it. We do pause it, but we leave it there. We're always looking at the resumes as well.
And going back to what Robert was saying with somebody else, is just really the San Diego area you're looking?
Oh no, sir. We have clients in 19 states and 3 countries.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Good for you.
We service a client, a little over 100 seats in Mumbai and a few seats in Mexico.
So you're servicing domestically a client in India.
Yes, sir.
With U.S. rates. That's awesome.
Yes, sir.
I don't think I've ever heard that, and I've talked to
The tides
thousands
are
of
turned.
MSPs.
The tides are
right?
turned. Yeah. The tides are turned.
Do they not like the accent when they call in for support?
I guess. It's funny. I'm not going to go there. You could go. Yeah, it's funny.
All right, are we good? All right, man.
Yeah, that was
Congratulations.
great business.
Great pitch.
Great business.
Thank you, guys.